Hello, I am Ivan Zoot, and welcome to Healthy Hair Cutter. Healthy Hair Cutter is my audio education series designed to help you get and stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. Healthy Hair Cutter is brought to you by Barbicide. Barbicide is our number one choice in salon and barbershop infection control for over 70 years. Visit Barbicide.com for more information on Barbicide certification. Barbicide certification is a free online educational program that shares what you need to know to protect your clients, yourself, your business, and reputation. Barbicide Blue is the color of trust. Thank you to Barbicide for sponsorship of this audio program. Today on Healthy Hair Cutter, in our focus on our three topics, healthy, wealthy, and wise, today's a healthy day. And today we want to talk about stretching and the importance of stretching. I like to say when we speak about the work we do, serving clients behind the chair, that you want to treat your work like a workout. That's right. You want to think of the work that we do the same way we would think of a workout in terms of the demands it places on our bodies, the physical stresses and strains, and the things we need to think about to see to it that we prevent injuries, avoid stress and strain, and reduce the chances of doing ourselves some damage while we're trying to do good and serve our clients and build our business. When we talk about stretching, there's two subjects I want to address today on the subject of stretching, and that is when to stretch and how to stretch. Let's take a look at these two discussions, because when we stretch, it will determine what type of stretching we do. There's two times throughout our day behind the chair that I think we want to think about stretching. The first one is before our day begins, when muscles are cold, joints, ligaments, tendons have been not moving, certainly have not been moving using the movement patterns that we use to deliver the services we provide. Many times you've heard talk of repetitive motion injuries because we do a lot of the same things over and over again. Think of opening and closing a scissors, or twisting a round brush, or winding a roller. Many of the things we do repetitively. So we're going to talk about when. First and foremost, before we get started. The other time would be during the day at intervals, breaking up the work that we do, taking a break, stepping away, stepping back, perhaps in the back room to stretch as a way of releasing pressures and relaxing muscles from some of the movements that we do throughout service delivery. And when we talk about before work and during work, that's when we plug in the two different types of stretching. The two types of stretching we'll speak of today are dynamic stretching and static stretching. We'll define these two types, and we'll talk about examples of these types of stretches as it relates to the work that we do. Dynamic stretching is stretching that is done that replicates or mimics the movements we will do in the activities we are performing. Okay, what did that mean? It sounded like a big mouthful, but let's talk about scissors. We open and close the scissors many, many times throughout the course of a haircut, hundreds, maybe even thousands of scissor opening and closing cycles. And the motion, the opening and closing of our hand, is the motion that we will be performing. Dynamic stretching is stretching that is done when muscles are cold and joints, ligaments, tendons have not been moving. Dynamic stretching is stretching through motion. So a good example of a dynamic stretch as it relates to the execution of scissor cutting would be what I call the sock puppet. Imagine you put your hand in a sock and you made your little sock puppet talk like you were talking to or entertaining a child, or even another adult that thinks sock puppets are entertaining. That opening and closing motion between your fingers and your thumb. Do that with your hand as I'm talking, and you'll see that's the motion we perform with the scissors. I call it the sock puppet, and it is a great example of a dynamic stretch to be done before we start working, to be done when muscles are cold, joints, tendons, ligaments are not in action or have not been warmed up. So a couple of minutes of sock puppet is a great way to get the juices flowing, so to speak. It's a fabulous example of a dynamic stretch, and it's exactly the kind of thing we want to be doing before we start our work day. A couple of minutes in the back room, in the car on the way into the shop, perfect opportunity for that. The other type of stretching we're going to look at is static stretching. And static stretching is an example of the stretching we will do at breaks throughout the day, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, at lunchtime. Static stretching is more traditional stretching like you may think of when we talk about things like bend over and touch your toes. and reach, 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 reach. Don't bounce. Bouncing is not good. But the kind of long, extended, held pressure on a muscle. Again, don't do this when muscles are cold. That's a great way to pull, tear, or damage muscle tissue. But when muscles are warm, when we've been moving and active, for those of us that run, we know in the old days they told you to stretch before you run. Today, modern science and understanding of movement and physiology tells us we stretch when we're warm after we've run. Same idea here. So a good example of a static stretch for your wrist, if you extend your arm out in front of you with your palm facing away, holding up your hand like you're telling someone to stop, like the policeman on the corner stops traffic, and with your opposite hand, grab your fingertips and pull your fingertips back towards your shoulder. And hold, and hold, and pull a little and hold. That's an example of a static stretch for our wrist as it relates to the movement we do when we cut hair with the scissors. If we do that same hand and now tip it down so the back of our hand is facing forwards in front of us and we're looking at the palm, grab our fingertips and pull our fingertips back towards our chest, towards our armpit along the bottom of our arm. That's stretching the other way. Again, static stretching. Breaks in the morning, breaks in the afternoon, lunchtime in the middle of the day, when muscles are cold and things have been moving, it's a perfect time for static stretching. Stretching exercises both before and during work, and both dynamic and static stretches are going to be a fabulous way to preserve our bodies, to maintain our health and wellness, to ensure our long-term durability for long, productive, and successful careers. I'm Ivan Zoot. I'm Healthy Hair Cutter, and this is a presentation, an audio presentation in the healthy category of healthy, wealthy, and wise. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to this Healthy Hair Cutter audio presentation. Visit my website, healthyhaircutter.com, for more Healthy Hair Cutter information and the rest of my Clipper Guy world. Tune in next time for more Healthy Hair Cutter. Meantime, have a healthy, wealthy, and wise week. Thank you.